Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephanie Bristow, and welcome to another edition of The Real Deal. We're here to bring you the latest in movies, television, and music. Tonight, we have exciting news for Arrested Development fans, a look at Hollywood's history with vampires, and of course, another great film recommendation in Best of Bracken. Let's kick the show off with something familiar and look at Hollywood headlines. Paige Ziegler is here to bring you the latest.
Thanks, Stephanie. This past week, Andy Rooney delivered his final essay for CBS's 60 Minutes. He had been with CBS since 1949 as a writer, but delivered his first essay in 1978 at the age of 59. The week's program was his 1097th essay and will be his last. Within his career, he covered such as the Challenger space shuttle explosion, the Oklahoma City bombing, and the start of the Iraq War. Although he will not be presenting any more of his famous works, he has stated that he is not retiring. Rooney says he plans to continue to write. If you love the film The Adjustment Bureau, then you are in for a great surprise. Sci-Fi is creating the TV adaptation with the help of MRC Productions. George Nolfi directed and produced the sci-fi thriller that starred Matt Damon and Emily Blunt and will do the same for the series. The movie is based off the story Adjustment Team written by Philip Dick, whose other stories have been made into television series. Writers Darren Swimmer and Todd Slavkin will join Nolfi. MRC, which previously produced the movie, do not normally produce network developments. Universal Pictures, Sci-Fi's sister network, released the movie. Arrested Development fans can rejoice. After years of rumors of a film, it finally looks like the critically acclaimed TV series will make a return. Creator Mitchell Hurwitz confirmed the show will return with a limited television run, consisting of at least 10 episodes. The episodes then will be followed by a film. Each episode will be centered on one character and they will come together in the first scene of the film. Producers are striking a deal with either Showtime or Netflix to air the limited TV run. The new episodes in film will have the entire cast from the 2003 to 2006 stint. The show will start shooting in the summer of 2012 with a planned 2013 release. That's what's happening in Hollywood. Back to you, Stephanie.
Thanks, Paige. Moving away from film and TV, let's see what's happening in the music world as we turn to Denny Sullivan for Music Minute. Denny?
Since the Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake wardrobe malfunction, the Super Bowl's halftime act have been under extreme scrutiny. So who is rumored to be taking the stage this February? It's none other than pop icon Madonna. Rumors circulated faster than a ray of light that the Material Girl herself will be performing at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis for the halftime show. Although representatives have neither confirmed nor denied the rumors, the timing would be right. She is working on a new album set to be released in 2012, meaning the Super Bowl would be an excellent occasion to give the virgin performance of a single, singing it for the very first time. If true, she would join the likes of The Who, Tom Petty, and Prince as recent performers. She fits right in with the trend of older acts using the most-watched television event to try and regain some spotlight. And speaking of old things coming back, Hank Williams' music lives again. The man who essentially founded modern-day country music is back in the headlines after dying of an overdose nearly 60 years ago. Old notebooks of his lyrics have resurfaced in recent years, and some of today's artists are paying tribute to the legend by recording his songs so that his genius can be heard anew. Big names like Bob Dylan, Jack White, Patti Loveless, Norah Jones, and Sheryl Crow appear on the appropriately entitled album, The Lost Notebooks of Hank Williams. And that's all for the Music Minute. Back to you, Stephanie.
Thanks, Denny. It's time to take our first commercial break. This is your chance to grab a snack and maybe stretch a little. But don't be too long. Up next, I have a special guest with me in the studio. You'll have to stick around to find out who that is. Stay tuned.
I want the very best for you. I promise to take care of you.
Do I need to move? I know that it's the only way that I can live a nation.
You got a prescription for medicinal marijuana?
No, I got a prescription.
Well, what's wrong with you?
I have night blindness.
Hakuna Matata. It means no worries.
If we win with this team, we'll change the game.
Every aquarium in the country says it's hopeless.
Well, they haven't met winter yet.
Welcome back. As you can see, we have a special guest with us tonight, Morgan STEHR, and he's here to give us some insight into Ball State's latest summer film project, Nerdvana. So first of all, thanks for joining us, Morgan.
Thank you for having me, Stephanie.
Can you just tell us a little bit about what is Nerdvana?
Sure. Nerdvana is, well, it's this year's Ball State Summer HD film, obviously. It's a story that was written by Lemmy Saylor, Bruce Snyder, Dan Finnan, and Matt Mullins, and it centers around these 4 characters that have to go on a road trip across Indiana. And the goal is, A, to reach enlightenment and to learn what it means to be a gamer, and also to win Gen Con tickets, which is like Mecca for gamers.
Great. Awesome. Okay, so when did this all take place? This summer, obviously, right?
Correct. We shot it from June to August of this past summer, and we're working on post-production right now.
So how did you get involved? What was your role?
My role during production was production manager, which for those who don't know, that means I had to take care of the crew and the talent, make sure everyone was hydrated when we were shooting out in the heat, give them sunscreen, bug spray, just kept them healthy, made sure none of the actors got hurt or anything like that. And right now we're doing post-production, so I'm on the post-production team, which is in charge of making trailers, making posters, managing the advertising campaign, and I'm also doing the musical score.
Wow, so you've got a lot on your hands.
I do, yeah.
And what does that entail for you with doing the musical score?
The musical score, well, I'm going to do it the way I always do it. I've scored a bunch of movies before. I use my keyboard and GarageBand, and I compose the music as I go and give it an original soundtrack.
Okay, all right. And so when should we be looking for this release date? Is there one set yet?
There's not a release date set, but it's going to come out next spring. There's going to be a Ball State premiere for students and family, anybody who wants to come really. And we're in talks to get a Gen Con premiere right now, since the movie is about getting to Gen Con, and Gen Con's a big part of it. So we're going to try to get it into that film festival as well next fall.
Great. Well, we're really looking forward to it. So we'll be looking for flyers, different things around campus that's going to let us know when it is for sure coming out. Awesome. Well, that sounds great. Thanks for joining us tonight. Make sure and check around campus, see when Nerdvana will be coming out. We are going to go to another commercial break, but when we come back, we'll take a look at vampires and a deadly epidemic. So don't go away. And we're back. Everyone follows a popular craze at some point, and even Hollywood is guilty of this. Kaylee Russell is here with a new segment where she will take a look at Hollywood's current trends. Let's find out what she has in store for us tonight. Kaylee?
It seems like every other preview you see now is about vampires, whether the vampire is Richard Simmons in disguise or resembles a creepy golem-like creature. Since the start of the millennium, there has definitely been a vampire trend in movies and television shows. Audiences can't seem to get enough of these bloodsuckers. While it's fair to say that the Twilight series kick-started this trend, filmmakers have been making vampire movies for decades. Back then, audiences raved over Bram Stoker's Dracula and 30 Days of Night, both scary and gory vampire movies. However, today it seems like the most popular vampire films are ones that focus on forbidden love and sex appeal. Now, there have been movies such as Daybreakers, Priest, and Let Me In that tried to bring back the creepiness and artsy feel, but according to the box office ratings, those movies were not as popular as Twilight or the TV series True Blood and the Vampire Diaries. So what's the deal with this trend? Have our vampires gone soft? Are only preteens watching these supernatural beings? An article in the Huffington Post states that the attractive bad boy down the street has always been an enticing archetype. Throw in some passion and heavy brooding, and women go crazy. Couples can enjoy a modern-day vampire film together because women get lured into the seduction while men get pumped over the action and gore. For Hollywood, it's a win-win. I believe there is one main reason why this romanticized vampire trend is so popular. Audiences want to relate to what they're watching. Vampires used to be terrifying monsters that relentlessly killed anyone with a heartbeat, but now they have become humanized. Viewers want to lose themselves in a fantasy world, yet still keep those real-world motivations. Vampires can be monsters, but perhaps now they have a conscience and feel bad about killing humans. Or instead of being a soulless killer, they're searching for a soul mate. Vampires have always been present in movies and television, and I don't think they're going back to Transylvania anytime soon. This trend has changed vampires from bloodthirsty killing machines to seductive monsters with human qualities. Whether you hate the sparkly, supermodel-worthy vampires or not, I think it's safe to say more of them have yet to be seen. But who's to say in the next decade we won't return to the era of Nosferatu? Back to you, Stephanie.
Thanks, Kaylee. Hopefully Edward Cullen doesn't overtake Dracula as the most famous vampire. Next, we're joined again by the incredible, the incomparable, the insatiable Ben Rocky for this week's Rocky's Corner. Expect the unexpected. Ben?
Thanks, Stephanie. I had a great weekend, and you know, nothing makes a great weekend like family. And that's who I spent it with. I went to Indy for my brother's birthday and saw a movie. Then I came back to Muncie and saw a movie with my cousin. The movies I saw were, in order, Contagion and Our Idiot Brother, two movies which were carried by their great casts. And you know, isn't a film cast kind of like a family? They spend a lot of time together, they learn a lot about each other, and at a certain point, they have the uncontrollable urge to kill one another. Ah, family. Well, here's a rundown of those two movies and why the cast was the main carrying point. First, Contagion. Now, when I first saw this trailer, the first thing I said was, ooh, what a great cast this looks like. I may see this film based solely on this wonderful looking cast. That may be paraphrasing. Anyway, the movie as a whole was pretty good. What they did really well was the start of the film, which got right into the epidemic situation. This immediacy felt like when it actually happens in real life, taking everyone in the world by surprise. Then it flowed pretty well from there. But the reason it did this was the awesome cast. Matt Damon, Lawrence Fishburne, Kate Winslet, Jude Law, Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh my gosh, they were all playing different corners of the epidemic-filled world, like the scientist, the worrisome father, the victim, or the reporter. But in addition to all these A-listers, there were so many more I was seeing, like Elliot Gould from the Ocean's movies, comedian Demetri Martin, Breaking Bad's Bryan Cranston, and Enrico Colantoni from the sitcom Just Shoot Me. With all these actors carrying this movie, it was a great look into all the different sanctions of the world at a time of crisis, without the Roland Emmerich stupidity. Then on Saturday, I saw Our Idiot Brother with my cousin because of my man crush on Paul Rudd and her lady crush on Zooey Deschanel. But they were just two of what turned out to be a plethora of talent, all who executed their parts flawlessly. Paul Rudd is a very sweet, well-meaning screw-up who gets arrested for selling drugs to a uniformed officer. He then tends to be a bit of a thorn in his sister's sides when he needs a place to stay. His sisters are played by Elizabeth Banks as the career-obsessed reporter sister, Emily Mortimer as the stressed, unhappy housewife sister, and Zooey Deschanel as the eccentric, bisexual, artistic sister. These three plus Rudd are so good together, you really feel the sibling connection between them all. The cast also includes comedy greats like Rashida Jones, TJ Miller, Steve Coogan, and Adam Scott, all who play wonderful supporting characters. What you'll really like about this film, though, is in addition to be hilarious, this film takes itself so seriously and does not get by on cheap ridiculousness. It really makes you see family as something that can help get you through anything, really. There is very real emotion in this film, and the cast is what makes it happen. Well, this has been my sweet-natured, family-oriented Rocky's Corner, so be sure to catch my next segment on why dogs always have to die in films. I'm just kidding. Actually, that could be interesting. Stephanie, can I do that?
Thanks, Ben. I'll look into that for you. While I do that for Ben, let's take our final commercial break. When we get back, we'll have a Best of Bracken with another Ben and my final word. Stick around. Welcome back. Now for a segment unique to The Real Deal, Best of Bracken. Now, not only is Ball State's beautiful library useful for research and reading, its lowest level is full of music and movies just for students. But how do you know what to check out first? Luckily, we at The Real Deal help you find something truly special. Here's Ben Kramer with his recommendation.
There are few movies in the science fiction genre that have captured the mysterious and eerie atmosphere of outer space than the 2009 movie Moon. Moon stars Sam Rockwell, who plays Sam Bell, an astronaut on board a spacecraft mining for precious gases on the dark side of the moon that could provide valuable pollution-free power for Earth. Sam is the only human on board the spacecraft, while assisted by the spacecraft's robot, Gertie, voiced by Kevin Spacey. While finishing the last days of his 3-year contract for the company he works for, Sam spends his time in solitude and can't wait to be reunited with his family. However, one day while he is driving a rover, he starts to hallucinate and crashes. That's when things start to become interesting, and Sam starts to discover the mystery behind the mission he's assigned to. While performing very modestly at the box office, critics everywhere praised this psychological sci-fi film from first-time director Duncan Jones, who is the son of musician David Bowie and also known for directing Jake Gyllenhaal and the recent hit Source Code. The main reason to watch this film is Sam Rockwell. His performance in Moon won praise from critics everywhere and made many, including me, believe that he deserved an Oscar nomination. Also, it was great hearing Kevin Spacey as the voice of an artificial intelligent robot because of its resemblance to the robot HAL 9000 from the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. What made the movie work though, was the plot layered with so many twists, turns, and surprises that you'll find yourself completely immersed into it. And that is the greatest feeling you can have for a movie. So go check out Moon from Bracken Library right now and enjoy. Back to you, Stephanie.
Thanks for the recommendation, Ben. It looks like we've run out of time here in the studio, but before we go, I wanted to give you guys my final word. Music really does soothe the soul. In fact, I wish we all had personal soundtracks playing as we went about our daily routines. Tonight, I want to look at 3 musicians who I feel don't get near enough coverage. First up, Andy Davis. I got hooked when I first heard his hit, Brown Eyes. He came out with his first album, Thanks of Her, in 2004. His second album, Let the Woman, was even better. His simple lyrics and sweet voice are perfect to listen to any time of day. Davis is currently working to release his 3rd album this fall. Next up, Dave Barnes. I've seen him in concert twice, and it just gets better and better each time. He has a great balance of upbeat hits to romantic melodies. With 6 albums, including a holiday album, Dave knows what he's doing. His most popular songs include Until You, Little Lies, and God Gave Me You. Not to mention, he helps support the Mocha Club, which is a great organization that helps bring clean water to Africa. And finally, I have to give a shout out to Blessed Union of Souls. My favorite album, Walking Off the Buzz, was released in 1999. You may remember their hit single, Hey Leonardo, but I still love putting That's the Girl I've Been Telling You About on repeat. That's my final word and the end of our show this week. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates on all things entertainment. Join us again next week, same time, same place. I'm Stephanie Bristow. See you next week.
Can only take so much. But the steel never stops.
This is what it's all about! Let's make some money!
You got the best media mind in the country. All the reporters love you.
If your boy wins, you get a job in the White House. He loses, you're back at a consulting firm.
I've worked on more campaigns than most people have. By the time they're 40, he's the only one that's going to actually make a difference in people's lives.